So I'm almost 30 now, but when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old and I was like in elementary school, I really freaking struggled with ADHD. Not necessarily from a succeeding in school perspective, but mostly just like in a making friends with people kind of way where I just couldn't figure out how to keep my hands to myself. I didn't really have any social skills, didn't know how to talk to people. What's up?
You filming?
Yeah, I'm making a TikTok.
Oh, okay.
That was my wife. Didn't really know how to talk to people and had a really hard time. And I went on Ritalin at one point, which is like, it's kind of like, what's the other one that people take all the time? I forget. What's the drug that people take for ADHD?
Ritalin.
The other one. The one that people like,
Adderall.
Adderall. Yeah, it's kind of like Adderall. I'm talking about ADHD. Anyway, I did Ritalin for a little while, but it completely ruined my appetite and I didn't eat at all and I didn't like talk to people while I was on it. Completely lost my personality, lost a bunch of weight. It was sketchy. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just really kind of always saw my ADHD as this thing that was a detriment and was really going to kind of hold me back my whole life. And it took me probably until my late 20s to start to flip that narrative and see it as a creative tool. Because that's like ultimately what has become my superpower is like, I am a creative at heart. I can come up with ideas for marketing campaigns and for like, I can create ideas like crazy fast. And that's, I think, part of my ADHD. Like I'm just all over the place. But it took a lot of like work reframing that for me to start to like really enjoy who I was and use the skill set that I had rather than fighting it all the time. So I don't know who's got ADHD out there. I know a lot of people do now because I honestly think our phones have given it to us in some sense, and like our ability to pay attention to things that we don't want to pay attention to has probably significantly decreased over the last few years. All that to be said, I just think that it's in some ways being able to embrace ourselves and be like, hey, my brain doesn't work the way I wish it would, but because of that, I actually am going to leverage it in some other ways that are not as common. I have really found a ton of value in that, and I think people who have ADHD really would. I also am now like an entrepreneur. I have several businesses that I've started now, and because I have a really hard time focusing on work that isn't a passion of mine, isn't something that I love to work on, love to focus on. But if it is something that is directly tied to how much money I'm making or a project that I'm actually passionate about, doing work that I actually enjoy, I can freaking laser in like crazy, which is another misconception about ADHD is like you can actually focus really well and maybe better than other people, but